Superman, the world's most iconic superhero as well as the strongest. Now, you may be asking, the strongest? What about the likes of Thor, Hulk, even Sentry? However, the thing is that Superman is vastly more powerful than all three of them. You may call me a goon, or you may call me biased, but I will first be covering his speed and other interesting feats in this video to show you that he is stronger than them. And then after that, I will show you what happens when the Man of Steel truly decides to stop holding back, when he decides to fully show his strength. For these first feats, you have Doomsday, one of Superman's most powerful foes. However, not even he is a match for Superman. In this first scan, it shows Doomsday beating the Martian Manhunter, and in this scan, the next two, we see Superman letting himself get hit by Doomsday without sustaining much damage. After that, we see him get fed up and beating Doomsday with zero difficulty whatsoever. In this scan, we see Superman breaking the bonds of infinity and granting him infinite speed. Here we see Superman is trapped inside of Hypertime, and Hypertime is stated to have infinite timelines inside of it. Hypertime is also stated to be above space and time, and then we see Superman breaking through it, which not only grants Superman immeasurable speed, but also outer-versal levels of strength. In these next few scans, we see Superman being able to react to, as well as catch the Flash. And here we see him breaking one of Green Lantern's constructs. Here, Superman is stated to be the strongest in the entire Justice League. And here we have Superman building up a resistance to magic, as well as being able to look through and perceive an infinite amount of things. In this scan right here, Superman is stated to be the center of DC. This is what is known as the story of Superman, or SOS for short. The story of Superman can be explained in the way that every character has a narrative, like every comic has a story in it. Superman's story is unique. In short, it ensures that Superman wins in the end, and is unchangeable. These next few scans I will show you will be showing some power of the story of Superman. In this and the next two scans, Dr. Manhattan is trying to erase Superman. However, he can't, because the story of Superman cannot be changed, and Superman becomes Superman one way or another. For this next feat, you need to know who Milkman Superman is. Basically, he was a knockoff Superman a company tried to create in an attempt to replicate superheroes. Now, if you look at this scan, it is stated that this same company couldn't replicate Superman exactly. And in this next scan here, we see Superman being able to resist an author trying to change his story, further proving that the story of Superman is unchangeable. Also, here in this scan, we see that just Superman existing is an example of the story of Superman. It explains that he can do anything no matter the contradiction, and through that he is hope. And it states that the story of Superman is the ideal embodiment of hope. So him using hope within this scan proves he has access to weaponize the story of Superman and use it in base form, as it's stated within this scan. And this is also the reason that Kaz was able to beat Mandrake, because he used the hope of the story to overcome him. Now it's time for the actual scaling part. Now, in case you forgot, we've already scaled Superman to outer-versal because we've proved that DC has concepts and that Hypertime has stated to be above the concept of space and time, and Superman was able to break it. So now we're gonna go more into his scaling and scale him even higher. For reference, here's the map of the DC cosmology as a whole. For right now, we're going to be focusing on these main 52 multiverses. So in this scan, it's stated that the Monitor satellite is still in the orbit of Earth. And now here we can see Swamp Thing is basically using Lex Luthor's teleporter to teleport somewhere. And in this, he says that it unfolds into a shit beyond mathematics, which, depending on how you would interpret it, that could mean that either just that single multiverse/universe is boundless, or that the entire 52 multiverses are boundless. Now, it's boundless because of this explanation. I know it says that it's the Monitor sphere. However, I have just proven that it's not, so just ignore that part, but this is the best explanation that I could find as to why it is. So above the 52 multiverses is the Bleed, and then above the Bleed in the 52 multiverses is the God Sphere. Now, right here, we can see that something has torn the God Sphere. And in this scan right here, we see Superman being able to repair the God Sphere with just his laser vision, putting him above the 52 multiverses. Now, as I explained in the last thing, is that would already make countless. However, he has more scaling in the DC Cosmology, because if you look right here, we see him being able to break the source wall and shows general relativity to the source wall, because here he's able to blitz Darkseid into the source wall, and right here he's able to pull Darkseid out of the source wall. Now, there is a common argument going around that he is being amped by the All-Father staff. However, the All-Father staff wouldn't be providing him with the amp, because Batman has been holding it for most of the time, as you can see here. And also, it wouldn't really make any sense as to how he would just get an amp from touching it. The reason it explodes is because Superman's attack potency is just so high that it causes the All-Father staff to explode. And we see right here that Superman is able to survive the explosion of the source wall, and now in this scan, we see Superman being able to tank hits and exchange hits with Infinity Man, who states that he's the prime argent of the Source's will. And Infinity Man also says that he is the will of the Source, meaning that you can interpret this as Superman being above the Source. Now, he is actually above the Source, and I have a few feats/statements as to prove why. See, in this scan right here, Dream of the Endless says that hope beats the anti-life. And in this scan, the anti-life is stated to be equal to the source. And now in this scan, Superman is stated to be hope itself, meaning that this would put Superman above the source. And another thing just to back this up is right here where Superman is absorbing the essence of Mageddon. And then right here we have Orion stating that Mageddon is a threat beyond the source. We also have Superman being the first one to be called when there is a threat that needs to be dealt with, which is said to be at least a source level threat. So in conclusion, we have Superman at Boundless, which is the highest tier in scaling, and we have him above things like the God Sphere, we have him above the Monitor Sphere, the Source Wall, and even the Source itself. Now, before this video ends, I would like to give a special thanks to a couple people who made this video possible and really helped me out a lot, and I could not do this without them. Those two people are Scorpy and Hellish. I will put their respective social medias down below so that you can check them out, and I highly recommend that you do because they are amazing scalers.